Welcome to Kids' Sleepy Chronicles, where history comes alive and dreams begin. The moon, a gentle silver coin, had just begun its climb over the sleepy town, and in a cozy room with walls the color of butter, a little girl named Maya was not quite ready for sleep. She was 8, with curious eyes that missed very little, and tonight they were fixed on the quilt tucked snugly under her chin. It was her favorite, a patchwork sea of colors, deep blues like a twilight sky, bright yellows like summer sun, and a soft, faded red that reminded her of rose petals. She traced the stitches with her finger, wondering how all these different pieces came together to tell one warm, quiet story. As Maya's eyelids grew heavy, her thoughts began to drift and swirl like milk in hot chocolate. She imagined the threads in her quilt weren't threads at all, but tiny, shimmering paths. And the soft cotton wasn't just fabric, but a field of fluffy white clouds. With a deep, peaceful sigh, Maya felt herself sinking, not into her pillow, but into the very center of that quilt, the stitches widening into pathways, the colors blooming into a whole new world around her. She found herself standing in a sun-drenched field under a vast, clear sky. The air was warm and carried a sweet, earthy smell. All around her, as far as she could see, were plants with cheerful yellow flowers and fluffy white bowls that looked like tiny sheep made of cloud. A gentle woman with kind eyes and hands that moved like flowing water knelt nearby. She wore simple, beautiful clothes in colors made from the earth and sky. "Hello, little dreamer," the woman said, her voice as soft as the breeze. "You have found the cotton field. This fluffy gift from the earth is where many stories of cloth begin." Maya watched, mesmerized, as the woman showed her how to carefully pick the soft bowls. "The magic," the woman explained, "is hidden inside." She pulled apart the white fluff to reveal tiny seeds. "First, we must set the cotton free." She showed Maya a simple bow, a curved piece of wood with a string. Plucking the string made a low, humming sound. Twang! The vibration, she said, would help loosen the seeds from the fluffy fibers when the time came. But the cotton was still a tangled cloud. "Now," the woman smiled, "we must bring order to the fluff. We must coax it into line." She gave Maya a pair of smooth wooden cards, studded with tiny metal teeth. "We call these carding combs." Maya gently pulled a tuft of cotton between them, and like magic, the messy fibers began to stretch and straighten, all lying in the same direction. They were no longer just fluff, they were becoming ready. "The real wonder comes next," the woman whispered. She took the neat rectangle of carded cotton and, from a basket, produced a simple spindle, a smooth wooden stick with a round whirl at the bottom. She gave the spindle a twist and let it drop, and as it spun, she gently fed the cotton fibers into it. Maya's eyes grew wide. The loose cloud was being pulled, twisted, and transformed. It was becoming a single, strong, continuous line, a thread. It was like watching a river form from 100 tiny raindrops. "This is spinning," the woman said. "It is patience and rhythm. It is turning something fragile into something strong." The world around Maya shimmered again, and the field of cotton melted into the cozy interior of a cottage. A fire crackled in the hearth, and sitting beside it was another woman, her hands dancing before a large, wooden frame. This was a loom. Maya saw the thread she had helped spin, now stretched up and down on the loom. They were called the warp, and they were as straight and patient as soldiers waiting for their orders. The weaver handed Maya a shuttle, a little boat-shaped piece of wood wound with another thread. "This," said the weaver, "is the weft. Its job is to journey." She showed Maya how to pass the shuttle through the tall forest of warp threads. Clack, clack! Went a part of the loom called the beater as she pushed each new line of weft snugly against the last. With every pass of the shuttle and every clack-clack of the beater, something incredible happened. The separate threads began to disappear, and in their place, growing slowly and surely, was a solid piece of cloth. It was no longer a collection of lines, but a whole, new thing. A surface. A story. Maya understood now. The up and down threads and the side-to-side threads were holding hands so tightly they became something brand new. "This is weaving," the weaver said, her voice a soothing rhythm matching the loom. "It is the crossing of paths. It is making a home for all the threads together." The cloth on the loom was beautiful, but it was the color of cream. The scene shifted once more, and Maya was by a bubbling stream. Here, a person was stirring a large pot over a small fire. The pot bubbled with colors that seemed alive, a deep, vibrant blue from a plant called indigo, a rich golden yellow from onion skins, a warm red from madder roots. They dipped the woven cloth into the pot, and the plain fabric drank in the color, emerging transformed. "This is dyeing," the dyer said, lifting a piece of sun-yellow cloth. "It is giving the cloth a voice, a feeling. Blue for the cool, deep sky. Red for warmth and courage. Yellow for the cheerful sun." Finally, Maya found herself back in a quiet room. An elder sat with a needle so fine it was almost invisible. In her lap was the now-colored cloth, and with tiny, perfect stitches, she was sewing pieces together. She was joining the blue of the sky to the yellow of the sun, adding a border of leafy green. She was making a quilt. "This is the last chapter," the elder said, her stitches as steady as a heartbeat. "This is sewing. It is bringing all the stories together. The story of the field, the story of the spindle, the story of the loom, and the story of the stream. Every stitch is a memory. Every piece is a part of the whole." As the last stitch was placed, Maya felt a familiar, gentle pull. The world of shimmering threads and bubbling dye pots began to soften, the colors blending like watercolors in the rain. The kind faces of the spinners, weavers, dyers, and sewers smiled at her, their work complete, their story told. She drifted back, up through the pathways of thread, and found herself nestled once more in her own soft bed. The moonlight now painted a silver square on her patchwork quilt. But it was not just a quilt anymore. Now, she saw it. She saw the sun-drenched field in the white cotton patches. She felt the patient spinning in the tight, strong threads that held it all together. She saw the clack-clack of the loom in the checkerboard pattern of the squares. She saw the bubbling stream in the deep blue of the night sky pieces and the cheerful yellow of the sun squares. And she saw the loving, careful stitches that had joined her grandmother's stories to her mother's stories, all to wrap around her. Maya's breathing slowed, matching the slow, steady rhythm of an imagined loom. Her fingers relaxed their hold on the fabric. Each square of the quilt was no longer just cloth, it was a chapter. A chapter about patience, and transformation, and how many small, careful things can come together to make one big, warm, wonderful thing. She felt the weight of the quilt, not as a heaviness, but as a gentle hug from history itself, from all the hands that had ever learned to spin, to weave, to dye, and to sew. Their quiet work had spun a thread of knowledge all the way through time, to tuck her into night. As sleep finally settled over her like the softest, most well-woven blanket, Maya smiled. The adventure was over, but the warmth remained. And somewhere in her dreams, she heard a gentle, comforting sound, clack clack, swish, twang, a lullaby of making, weaving her into a deep and peaceful sleep.